welcome or welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing day one of the advent calendar from Crystal Parade. So I've already unboxed all of this, and this is the pot for day number one. So there are far more crystals in here than we're actually going to use today, but that is what we have. We have our polishes there as well, and we're also going to be using some rhinestone glue from a cart and my little wax picker tool. So our first colour here is Mrs. Claus, and this is from Dali. This is part of their ultra low Hema range. I don't know if these are still available. These are ones that I've gotten through Vinted and Marketplace and things like that. This is just the white gel. Again, it is an ultra low, so all the ones I'm using today are ultra lows that I have acquired through various means, Vinted and marketplaces and so on. Our next one, the green that we are using, is called Alice, and we're going to be using this on two of the nails. And then our gold is called Lydia. And I, of course, have managed to get some polish on my gloves. So important that you are wearing gloves so that you don't end up with getting lots of polish on your hands and leaving that perhaps uncured for a while, or we don't want it going into our skin. It's not designed for that, so we want to make sure we are avoiding skin where possible. Everything is going to be getting 2 coats, and then Lydia, as you can see, it's going on quite sheer. You can't see very well because, you know, why would I show you the actual thing that I'm doing? I do improve, I promise. So, Lydia, that gold, it's a gorgeous gold, that is going to need 3 coats. So second coat of Mrs. Claus, gorgeous glittery red, really, really festive. Absolutely love it. You will discover, you'll see with me in a little while, that there is a slight problem with that colour and the crystals that I have gotten. And oh my gosh, these crystals from Crystal Parade, they are amazing. Now this design, what I'm doing today and what I'm doing for each day of the advent calendar, basically with the advent calendar we also got a step-by-step guidebook on how to create each design that they had created for that, and by they I mean Crystal Palace in conjunction with Lisa Johnston. And it's just amazing. They're just fabulous. The patterns that we're doing, the designs that we're doing. Today's look really simple. Okay, they do. But for me, as someone who, you know, all the nails that I have designed, that I have created, are all on this channel. And yes, I have used crystals in some of them in the past, and it has just been me putting crystals on a nail. There hasn't been a lot of thought going into it. It's just what happens, just, you know, when you're sidetrack. So when I was wiping the inhibition layer off, so that's that tacky layer that's on the top nails, and the red, there was some the colour in that as well, and when I then wiped that on the white, that appeared. So just be aware if you're using different colours and you are wiping off the inhibition layer, start with the lightest colours, or ones that are not going to show up if they transfer onto each other. The liner I'm using today is from Dali as well. It's their short liner. So as I was saying about these various patterns, designs, these crystal designs, they look quite simple, and for this set, yes they are, but by the time we get to day 12, oh, they are going to look very different. Now, spot the crystal. I know that looks fast, but you just can't see it, and you'll see that when we're adding more to it. So I'm just taking out some of the crystals that we're going to be using for this one. This pattern is going to have red and white crystals. So just taking some of those out while that is curing in the lamp. I'm not normally at this speed. The main video itself is at double speed because I took a while. And the sorting of the crystals, this is at 4 times the speed that I could actually do it at. So there you go. Now we are still trying to find the crystal. Can you see it yet? Just about. We do come up with a fix for this at the end. It's okay. We will be able to see the crystals on this nail by the time we are finished. So we're alternating red and white crystals. And like I said, this set, this design, and all the designs within the next, hopefully the next 12 days. We'll see. Today's the 13th. Which means they've finished the advent calendar, and I still have only done 3 sets of them. And I've only got a week left before I head back to Ireland, so I would need to do all of them to be able to, even if I don't have them all edited and ready to upload, that, you know, that they're at least all made before I head back to Ireland for Christmas. So I'm just fixing them before I put them into the lamp to cure, because once they are cured, they are not moving. But each of these sets, I will eventually get around to what I'm saying. This is the 3rd time. Each of these sets have been designed by Lisa Johnston. And every day there was a live in the Facebook group. So we had a private Facebook group just for people who had bought the advent calendar. And every day we would have a tutorial, a live with Lisa on Facebook to teach us how to make each set. So while I'm doing this set, I'm also rewatching the tutorial. Some of them I got live, some of them I'm just getting on catch up. It's all dependent on what else I was doing that day. So if I have college or my nail course, I obviously couldn't join in at the time because they were like 10 o'clock in the morning, which is when I would be in college or doing my nail course. And then, so yeah, I couldn't join in each day, but the days that I did, oh, it was so much fun. I made some, I'm going to say lovely friends in that group. We've learned a lot about each other, and there's just some incredible talent in that group, and I can't wait to learn more from others there as well. There are plans for future workshops. Hopefully, we were being asked, and it wasn't said no. And we were being asked, you know, what format we'd like things in the future. So I am optimistic that there will be future workshops and tutorials and sets like this and offers like this where this will be available. Where, you know, Crystal Parade will put together the mix and then we can learn how to recreate the nails. So today, simple designs, perfect for a beginner, which is what I am really. Yes, I have done some crystal designs, crystal nails with crystals in the past, but they were never planned. There was no sort of, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to organise it involved in it. It was, this looks pretty, let's stick this one beside it. Oh, there's a bit of space, let's throw some caviar beads in. And that's sort of how my crystal designs have been so far. And I have learned a huge amount over the past 12-13 days in the group, and with just engaging with everyone and taking part in those lives where I could, and just, yeah, the knowledge that people have in that group is amazing, and I cannot wait to be doing some more nails. The group was a mix of people who are brand new, are new nail techs, or who do it for fun, this is a hobby for them, to very well established nail techs and people with social media accounts including YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, that have huge numbers of followers. So it was a very diverse group, a huge amount of knowledge within the group, like I said, from those who've been doing this for quite some time. And it was amazing. I have absolutely loved it. I have learned so many hints and tips doing this. It was brilliant. So we are at the top. There we go. I've just flipped the crystals there in the top corner and they are now out of the tray. That is not the first time I'm going to do it. It won't, sorry, it is the first time, but it's not going to be the last time. That is going to be a regular occurrence. So, and I can say that now, knowing that I'm going to do it so many more times. But it's fine. We picked them up, we got on with it. It wasn't like I spilled the box of caviar beads or anything like that. No, I'd never do anything like that. You'll have to stay tuned for tomorrow to find out what's going on there. So I've realised, okay, that's not going to work. That one is too big. Or sorry, there's not enough space for me to put a red in between those. So I'm just going to move everything forward from the what would be the cuticle area a little bit. And move everything so that we have some nice spacing. It doesn't look like there's any gaps there. And away we go. So we're gathering up those crystals now while that is in the lamp, because we need to gather them up. We're going to be needing them for the next nails. We've only done one nail. We have 4 more to go. So we're finished that one. Those are going back in, and I will actually, in a couple of minutes, you will see me sorting all of the crystals into little trays so that I can find the ones I'm looking for easier. So we're going to matte top coat this because it is so difficult to see the red crystals. We're going to matte top coat this, and the hardest part was literally just getting into that very, very tip of it. I do it, but that was, I use the dotting tool to get right into that tip. And there we go. Pop it into the lamp. While that's in the lamp, we are going to sort out all of the crystals, because there's no other way I'm going to be doing this. And I have been doing this with every set that I've done so far. It's been easier to take out the crystals. Now, you have a look at the crystals I've just put into that tub, the shaped ones. We have 2 stars. We only use 1 on the design so far, and those like flame bits, those diamondy bits, we're going to use that as a flame as a candle. We only use 1. We only use 1 in this design, and look how many there are. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them that are there. You know, so those bigger red crystals as well. There's only 1 of those used in it. I wasn't paying attention properly, so I didn't actually use any of those in this design. Not a problem. You know, I ended up using some of the smaller red ones instead and didn't even notice. There's just so many of the crystals. I mean, it's wow. Initially, this felt like an expensive calendar. I will be very honest. It was £99. It felt like a very expensive calendar for 12 days. But actually, when I'm looking at it now and I look at everything as a whole, we got the crystals. There was it 1 tray included, or was there more? We have everything that we need for the, basically, if you had absolutely nothing to do crystals, you could have gotten this kit and you would be able to do everything. We had the wax pencil. I'm not using it. I prefer my little tool there. But they even included a sharpener. They included a pencil sharpener. So if you were using the wax tool, the wax pencil that they included, there was no excuse. You still had a pencil sharpener. You would still be able to do it. They didn't include glue and they didn't include brushes, but that's it. They have glue on their website. They don't have any nail brushes, but if you're a nail artist, nail type, you're doing nails, you probably have some of those around anyway. Now this one is going to be our candle. So the little diamond piece is our flame. And then we're just going to add rows of red and green alternating down the centre of the candle, of the nail, to create our candle. And basically it's however many rows you think you need. That's all you need to do. However many rows you think you need to include for it to look like it fits on your nail, that is what you do. I think we'd only gone as far as that third red row, so 5 rows in total for in the actual design we were given in the sample. I felt that was a little bit short for me, so I added another row. Done. Nothing complicated. Perfect. We are moving on to one of the green nails next. There we have our little candle completed. We are going to just top coat around those crystals, mainly because I don't trust myself, because it's day one and I'm not going to let you see me top coating it. Why would I do that? I do. Yeah, so this is a glossy top coat. You could use either. You could use a matte one as well. I'm still getting used to this setup. So this is the second set of nails I have created in where I am now in my new flat. And the first set was created right before this set. And that's as part of a collab I'm doing with Nail Crusade. So it hasn't been shown yet. Only the people involved in that collab have actually seen that set of nails. We're not doing the green one. I lied. We're doing the gold one. But it will have green. It will have a lot of green. Because, you know, we have 2 green nails left in the gold. But we need a Christmas tree. I can't do that in the green nail. So this is going to be our Christmas tree. This again is not going to be the only Christmas tree you will see in this collection. The day 2's set of nails also has a full Christmas tree nail as well, made very differently to this one, and my opinions were very different after it as well. So just using the dotting tool to pick up the glue, it was just easier when I only needed it in a small space to do it that way. So you could do individual dots. I didn't. I just sort of spread it out a little bit. I feel like I have a lot to learn still. So I've only done 3 nails. 3 of the sets so far. I am planning to do some more this evening once I get this video uploaded. But for now, yeah, I just need, I don't trust myself to just put the glue exactly where I want it and not have to go moving things around because it didn't quite work. So it's easier for me just to have it a little bit more spread out. And that's another reason for adding the top coats afterwards is sort of just to hide my extra glue, which doesn't always work as well as I would like. So we're on to row 5, and this Christmas tree, very simple. Start with 1, and then you're just adding an extra crystal each time in this honeycomb effect. So it goes in between the space of the 2 above it. Or in the case of rows 1 and 2, put down the first one, and then it's 2 underneath it, that it would be sitting in the gap between them. So again, you can add, the idea was to, until you sort of felt that you had enough space, that it looked the way it should on that nail, that it looked like it was big enough for that nail. Now here, Lisa had used one of the bigger red gems. However, I added 4 of the smaller ones instead. And the reason for that was because Lisa was obviously doing these while also doing a Facebook Live, and we were able to comment and things like that. It was taking a bit longer, so I was sort of, I know what I'm doing, I'll skip ahead a little bit and I will just do this the way it should be done. No. Ellen discovered afterwards, no, that was not the case. Does it impact the overall design? No. And these are all open to creative license. So the sets have been put together by Lisa, but how we interpret those is obviously up to us. And I clearly decided to interpret that one slightly differently. If I say so, it's true. So, going to just top coat to seal in around the edges there, kind of to hide any excess glue. Sort of, maybe, kind of. There we go. That's what's happening. Stick that one into the lamp to cure. I had been using the Carrot Rhinestone glue, but trying to squeeze it out of the tub was quite difficult. So I've now changed over to this that I can no longer see. Venedi. You'll see it again in day 2 and 3. And that is what I'm using. It was easier for me to get that out and put some onto the palette, or even just to leave it open there and just dip my brush or the tool into it. I had forgotten to press record when I started this. So we started with the white at the top there, cured that. That is our anchor point. One of the things I learned, having an anchor point. And then we did the stem of the candy cane, and now we are just doing the hook of it. And I'm slightly more just placing the dot where I want it to be for this one, rather than having excess. I'm sort of looking at it, no, not happy. I feel like it needs to extend a little bit more, so we are adding another white one at the tip. I have not cured any of those. I'm still not happy. I still think it feels a little bit unbalanced. So I'm now adding a red one at the base. I initially thought it was a little bit on the small side for the size of the nail. I'm using a size 0 tip. And then change that to no, I think it just needs to be a little bit bigger as well. Yes, you cannot see what I'm doing. There we go. My brain finally realised it. I'd obviously looked at the phone to see what you could see and realised you could see nothing. And kept forgetting. There we go. I'm improving slightly, sort of, maybe-ish. You know, let me know your thoughts. What do you think? I think, as well, when you're trying to get used to a new setup, that changes. Even though I'm using the same table, I'm using the same recording equipment, I'm using the same stand and everything, it's different. It just feels different. So I'm trying to adapt to that. So that is our candy cane finished, and our last one, I can't even remember what this is now. It'll be a surprise for me as well as for you. Oh yes, it's a Santa hat. So again, we are starting with not just an anchor point this time, but an anchor row. Okay, and this is a Santa hat. There's not really a lot to say, really. We'll add some red crystals. We'll add some white crystals. I'm trying to decide if I like it or not. I don't know if I like it. I'm not feeling confident enough to cure it yet. I can tell you that much, which means I'm not happy with it. And I'm not sure, but I don't want to cure it in place. So we're going to add in the second row below it. And I'm still not sure. Bearing in mind that this is at double speed. And I'm hesitating. I can see my own hesitation. We're adding in a third row, and I still haven't cured. So, make of that what you will. I think I'm sort of looking at it going, no, I'm not happy about this. Not happy. Let's go poke things, see if that makes me feel better. And what I've done, rather than taking everything off, because that would have been far too painful, and also glue everywhere, no thank you. I have just slid everything across so it's more towards the center than it was, and I'm just removing that excess glue from the side. But that entire time I was not happy with the placement of it. So that's something that I've learned as well myself, is that don't cure things unless you're happy. Because once they're cured, that's them. That's it. That is it. There's no going back at that stage. So we're adding to the top of the hat, because Santa's hat kind of goes up, and then we have the bubble that pulls it back down again, so it kind of curves over. We've just given it a quick flash cure. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this, because it only said like to add one crystal, but I don't feel like that's going to be enough before we have to add in the bubble. So I do a little bit, and again, this is where our creative licensing came in. I extended the hat out further. I wasn't happy with the gap with just one crystal, so I added in an extra one further out to create that space between the hat and the bubble, and we're sticking that one in for a quick flash cure as well. And it's back. And next, every Santa hat needs to have a trim. So we're going to add some white. So, and these are gorgeous whites. They have a little reflection to them. I can't remember now exactly which ones they are. We did get a step-by-step guide. It was emailed to us as well. I printed it out, so that I will forever be able to find it, maybe. And I was looking at it going, is this again enough? This is probably the nail that caused me the most. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm happy with this kind of thinking. Cured that in place, and I decided, let's add another row of white. So we're going to add another row, and putting them in between didn't feel right, so I was going to add them just directly underneath their previous one. There we go. I'm looking at it. I'm doing a lot of fiddling around with it. I'm not happy with it. Let's take them off. Scrap that idea. I do clean the backs of the stones as well. There we go. They're getting a good clean before putting them back in as well. And I top coat over where I had the glue, because that's what you do. One of them have gotten stuck to the side there. Again, we have that little bit inside the bobble, between the bobble and the hat, that I think I get the, do I manage to do it with this brush? I do, just about. No, I got the dotting tool to just make sure everything is in the right places. I'm popping that back into the lamp as well. There we go. That's the finished result. And this is the full set. I do like it. I felt I've learned a lot from it. I will be doing lots more, so please do come back and see what happens in the rest of the Advent calendar. There is going to be a lot more for you to see. Talk to you soon. Bye.